Matt Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
And glad to have you here as well. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Jam-packed again. Today, you don't want to miss a second of the show. Not 1 second. You should commit yourself to, an insane asylum for the criminally insane if you miss a single second of the show today.
Agreed.
You know what? It's going to be hot. It's summertime, and it's going to be hot in most of the country. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know how that's happening or why, but it's so unprecedented. It's never happened before. So I'm very confused about the 109, 110 degree weather we've been having in Dallas. I'm scared because it's never been like that.
I mean, there were the three major networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC in that order. You can watch their reports last night if you'd like.
Can I?
About who's to blame.
Well, I mean, clearly, humans are to blame. We're to blame, right? Trump is to blame. Maybe this is the Putin heat wave. Can we blame Putin for this? Yes, we can.
Well, we can, sure.
Well, let's see those reports.
Okay.
Let's see.
Ginger, while we have you, I know you and the team have been studying these summer high temperatures going back for a century in our country. I was going to ask if you could just show us just the last 50 years, what the record books show as far as summer highs recorded here in the U.S. and what you've seen, a clear trend.
Sure, David, I'll take you straight to the data. So you're looking first at the map that says 1961 to 19...
Ginger Z is going to take us straight to the data. It's important to note. We're not taking a detour. We're not going in a circuitous route. We're going straight to the data. Let's see it.
These are 30-year averages compared to the 20th century. So you see some blue on the map. Over the 50 years of this time lapse, as we take the 30-year averages up, you see a rapid rise in temperature across the entire nation. There are very few cooler spots than average at all. And what this means, and I know you're looking at me now and saying, okay, you showed us 50 years. Our Earth is way older than this, and we've been way hotter than this. And that's true.
Yeah, thank you.
However, those came with other signals and indicators like Earth's orbit or proximity to the sun. What we have right now, scientists say...
Like Earth's orbit. Are we going to control that now, too?
Has that changed?
No, it has not.
Has our proximity to the sun changed?
For the country in general, no.
Okay.
But for Texas in particular, yes. The sun
that I'm proven wrong
is just 38 miles from Texas. No, 38 miles. Now it's 93 million miles from the rest of the planet.
But not Texas.
But 38 miles away from Texas. So maybe that's what she's referring to.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Go ahead.
The attribution to this rapid rise in temperatures, greenhouse gas emissions.
Yeah,
it's overstated.
Which is why it's really important we report on it both here in the U.S. and across the
world.
It's
really important
in Europe as well, Ginger.
Is this an example of climate change impacting
of course it is.
The weather pattern?
Are you kidding?
We're certainly seeing more extreme weather due to climate change.
No,
this drought
we're not.
Caused us to go into summer much
Pause
earlier
it for a
than
second.
we normally
You know
see.
what? That's not true. That's just
She's a meteorologist.
not true. I know.
Are you a meteorologist?
I'm not, but I've read the words of meteorologists. And in fact, climate scientists who've written entire books about this. And it's just not true. I don't care how many times they say it. It isn't true. We're not experiencing more frequent or more severe anything, really. There's not more frequent tornadoes, hurricanes, droughts, floods, fires. It's all about the same. In some cases, it's actually down from historic averages.
I'd like to hear from a meteorologist.
All right, let's hear what the meteorologist has to say.
Britons looking for a break had almost nowhere to go. Just about 3 of every 100 homes here have air conditioning. Environmental experts say it's more
3%.
proof climate change is at our doorstep.
It's more proof.
Climate change isn't just a thing over there. It's here.
Yes. I mean, we used to look at polar bears
We used to look at them.
We used to say, this is about our children and our
grandchildren. How many times did you, almost every morning when I woke up, I looked at a polar bear because they were right outside my window and just staring at me.
There's so many of them.
Yeah, oh my gosh, polar bears were everywhere. Now they've been forced to go only up north.
There's so few left.
So few left. Do you know that the population in 1970, the polar bear population was 5,000 polar bears? And do you know that it's only increased by 500% to 25,000 polar bears now? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Frightening statistic. That it's only gone up 500%.
That is unbelievable.
It is. So, that's why we're not looking at polar bears in the morning when you wake up anymore. Because they're just not there. They've all had to go north to where it's cold. Man, they used to be in Texas all the time. You remember those days? The Texas polar bear days?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
All right. What else do we have to worry about?
This is us. This is here. This is now.
Good evening, everyone.
Here,
this is what
now.
scientists have been telling us the future looks like, except it is now. Temperatures far above what was once considered the summer norm, inflicting misery and creating a health danger for millions living under record heat from California to Western Europe, as well as parts of Asia and Africa. In this country, the torrid conditions setting 4 new records.
Torrid.
Dallas hitting 109, as did Oklahoma City. Dodge City, Kansas, setting a new record at 107. Across the pond, the usually temperate UK hitting an all-time record high, 104 degrees, bending and breaking train rails. That's how hot it was.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why doesn't that happen here then?
Well, it does kind of.
Does it?
Yeah, the heat does affect the rails.
Okay. It bends and breaks them?
They made a really big deal out of it in Europe, in the UK. I mean, they slowed the trains down, but they inspect the tracks with the heat. They do. But I don't know of, and I saw a train. I waited for a train, in fact, this morning. It didn't look like it was going more slow than it normally does.
Well, it should have, because of the bending and breaking of the railways.
Well,
the tracks.
I didn't park right. I backed up a little because I thought maybe it might tip over because of the tracks would just be capsized. Yeah.
Now that could happen. We do anticipate that happening. Is that the end of the report?
Yeah.
Did we see the whole thing? Wow.
I don't want. Would you like more from ABC, CBS, and NBC?
Yes. Because I don't know that there was enough fear mongering going on there.
Well,
guess what? It's summer. And it's hot.
I mean, that comes on the heels of, Biden's speech yesterday in Massachusetts. And really, it's 18 or 19 minutes long, and we could play the whole thing. And would take over Blaze Radio.
You're kidding.
And just play it.
They took 19 minutes for that report?
No, the Biden speech.
Oh, the Biden speech.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, the Biden speech. No.
I thought you were saying that they spent 19 minutes on the weather report? Wow.
They certainly could have.
And they
between
should.
all three of those
and
networks, they certainly could have.
So if we put the 18-minute together along with the 7-minute together, you got 22 minutes. You sell it with 8 minutes of ads, you got 30 minutes.
Absolutely.
You got 30 minutes.
Network news right there.
Yep.
But no, I was just saying that this is on the heels of, these are all, on the heels of Biden's climate speech.
And it was
yesterday.
so important. His climate speech was so important.
I mean, besides
Powerful.
the things that he was saying, he's just terrible.
Why would you say that about our president? Terrible. The president of the United States you're speaking of right now. Have some respect.
Okay.
All right.
I apologize. Aside from the fact of what our president, Joseph Robinette Biden, the president of the United States of America, was saying,
right?
He was less than
stellar,
less than
suboptimal.
Yeah, go with that.
All right,
sure.
Here's some of what he had to say. He remarked on the climate.
Yeah, it started from the very beginning.
And clean energy.
He walks up with John and the rest of the crew, and he thinks he's, here they come, the climate.
Look, I can jog for a step.
And this ticks me off so much. He comes up the stairs.
Look at him.
He's so spry. But then he gives everybody.
So spry. Nobody can keep up with him.
Gives everybody that. that look of where you're not clapping. I'm here. Screw off.
Thank you.
Shut up.
And thank you for your patience of sitting out here.
This whole
Appreciate. Please have a seat.
saying hello to everyone is awesome because he screws up people's names.
Well, hello, Massachusetts.
Ooh, you said the
It's
word.
an honor to be with you, outstanding members of Congress today. Senator Ed Markey.
Ugh.
Ed, there you go.
Ed, there you go.
Senator Elizabeth Warren. Congressman Auchinclaw sauce. Where is she? There you go.
What? Auchinclaw sauce?
Yeah.
And your great former member, and one of my dearest friends, John Kerry, is doing a great job leading our international special presidential envoy on climate, traveling the world.
That doesn't even begin to describe
Talking to an
it.
awful lot of people. He's talking into moving more than they've been doing.
More than they've been
Great
doing.
Massachusetts native.
No,
Gina McCarthy.
native.
There she is.
Yeah.
My national climate advisor is leading our climate efforts here at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's an honor to be joined by your neighbor from Rhode Island. He's not a bad guy at all. I live in his house, Sheldon Whitehouse, a great champion.
What?
A great champion of the environment. He's been banging away at it.
See, you did a little funny there
That's
because
it.
the guy's
Yeah.
name is Sheldon Whitehouse.
That's it.
And he lives in his house, which is the
banging
White
away.
House. Oh, man.
He's just banging away. And he can't say, Jake Auchinclaw, which is the representative's name.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
Auchinclaws or sauce or whatever it was.
Sauce,
he
whatever
said.
you want to call yourself. Get out of here.
Whatever. And there's more, I'm assuming.
Oh, my gosh.
Let's hear it.
I mean,
Can't wait.
There's plenty more.
My Department of Labor, led by a guy named Marty Walsh. He talks funny. He's a hell of a guy.
What?
But all kidding aside, Marty was a great mayor.
He talks
and I
funny. Is he from Boston, and so he has that accent?
Honestly, I don't know. What's his...
Are you? It's okay to say that about
guess
people now?
so.
Really? You can. It's all right. Yeah, for him it is because he said far worse than that.
Yeah, well, no.
But if that's anybody else, they're all over him. It must be a white guy he's talking about, and plus they're all Democrats, so nobody cares. All right, what is
funny?
What else does he have to say?
My Department of Labor,
Yeah,
led
you
by a guy named Marty Walsh. He talks funny. He's a hell of a guy. But all kidding aside, Marty was a great mayor, and I know he knows how to get a job done. And he's doing two things for me. First of all, Secretary of Labor, he's developing the first ever workplace standards for extreme heat.
Oh, wow.
Under these conditions,
Wait, pause it.
Cannot.
We're going to have workplace standards.
We already do.
For extreme heat?
He talks about they're already out investigating companies.
Stop it. And what are these standards? Do you have to have a certain amount of air conditioning? You got to have enough Freon in your air conditioning units? No, I think Freon was actually,
you can't use
it was
Freon
banned. I think Freon's banned. But whatever coolant we use now, you got to have that on hand. What kind of standard could you have for extreme heat? I'm sorry, you got to close your business. It's 98 degrees.
Yes.
98 or hotter, you need to close down your business.
That's what they're talking about. I mean, I don't know what the limit is.
But they are talking about closing your business?
They're talking about coming and investigating.
Let's see it and hear it.
Workplace standards for extreme heat, saying under these conditions, we hit this. You cannot do the following. You cannot ask people to do certain things. Second, he's sending folks out from the Labor Department to make sure we hold workplaces and to those standards that are being set.
Wow.
They've already completed over 500 heat-related inspections of workplaces across 43 states.
What a waste of time.
At the end of the day, it's going to save lives.
And money.
No doubt.
At the end of the day, it's going to
But he couldn't even get it out what they do.
No, he can't.
What they do.
He's incapable of actually delivering a speech. He can't do it.
No way.
All right, we've got more. I mean, there's a lot. A lot. We haven't even scratched the surface on this climate garbage yet. But first, let me tell you about Real Estate Agents I Trust. Trying to sell your home, it's a challenge. That's why you need a real estate agent who's going to come in and take charge of the situation and let you know if you need to paint your house, like we just did, to get it ready, and let you know if you have to move out of your house for a couple of weeks while they paint it, which is what we had to do. That was fun. That was enjoyable. But if
that's what you want to do.
That's what you want to do. You want to go somewhere else.
You do if you want to sell it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So these are the people who can let you know if it's worth it, if it's worth the hassle and the expense. Because sometimes it's not. Sometimes replacing the countertops won't get you the money back that you put into it. Well, these realtors can help you through that process and help you know if it's going to be worth it or not, because they're with buyers all the time. And conversely, if you're buying a home, they're going to get you the most for your money. So whether you're buying or selling or you're doing both because you're relocating, Real Estate Agents I Trust is to whom you can turn. realestateagentsitrust.com.
Pat Gray.
All right. He had much more to say.
Well, he goes on to talk about
the climate.
He absolutely. He goes on to talk about, if the Republicans aren't going to do anything, I will.
Good.
Because it needs to happen.
Yeah. We got to stop messing around.
Climate change is literally an existential threat.
No,
for our
it's
nation
not literally.
and to the world.
An existential
so my message
threat.
today is this. Since Congress is not acting as it should, and these guys here are, but we're not getting many Republican votes, this is an emergency. And I will look at it that way. I said last week,
this is bad.
And I'll say it again loud and clear. As president, I'll use my executive powers to combat the climate crisis in the absence of congressional action.
So bad.
Notwithstanding their incredible action.
And these lemmings, these sheep that sit there and cheer and clap for that. Do you know what you're clapping for? If he declares a climate emergency.
Which he hasn't.
He didn't yesterday, but he's probably going to next week.
He's done almost everything but that.
And they said it'll probably happen next week. He just wasn't ready for whatever reason. I don't know. They have to put ink in the printers. I don't know. But when he does that, it gives him unbelievable power. He can shut down media opposition. You can jail journalists who go against what you're saying.
Well, he's not taking no for an answer. He tells us.
I know. And here he is talking about that.
When it comes to fighting for climate change, I will not take no for an answer. I will do everything in my power to clean our air and water, protect our people's health, to win the clean energy future. This, again, sounds like hyperbole. Our children and grandchildren.
It is hyperbole.
Are counting on us.
And it's a hoax.
Not a joke.
It's not a joke. No, it's not a joke. It's a hoax.
If we don't keep it below 1.5 degrees
He
centigrade,
won't answer that.
we lose it all. We don't get to turn it around.
No.
And the world is counting on us. This is the United States of America. When we put our hearts and minds to it, there's not a single thing beyond our capacity. I mean it.
He means it.
When we act together. And of all things we should be acting together on, it's climate.
No.
It's climate.
It's climate.
And by the way,
climate.
My dear mother, God rest her soul, used to say, Joey, at everything bad, something good will come if you look hard enough. Look what's happening.
What's happening?
We're going to be able to create as many or more good-paying jobs. We're going to make environments where people live safer. We're going to make the air safer. I really mean it. We have an opportunity here.
I can't take it.
I'll bet you when you see what's happened here in this cable construction here, manufacturing, you go back and ask all the people who grew up in this beautiful place.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Look at how lovely it is. I mean, you can see
the plant back?
the splendor of
Everything
it.
it had? Or what you're going to have. I will be dumbfounded if you find anybody other than for pure sentimental reasons saying, I'd rather have a coal plant. I'll end by telling you another quick story.
Okay, oh, good.
When we moved from Scranton, when coal died in Scranton, everything died in Scranton. And my dad wasn't a coal miner. My great-grandfather was a mining engineer.
Your great-grandfather
my dad was in sales. There was no work.
Engineer. Okay.
So we left to go down to Delaware. I told you.
Pause it.
Where
Is this
oil
before or after he became a lumberjack? Is it before he became a lumberjack?
It could be. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure. What about truck driver? Was he?
This is before that.
It was before the long haul truck driving he did. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else.
But I remember driving home when you take the trolley in Scranton.
Wait, driving
going out
trolley.
Washington and
Driving
Adams
home
Avenues.
in the trolley.
Within 15 blocks, we didn't live in the neighborhood. The most prestigious neighborhood in the region.
Yeah, we didn't live there.
In the town where the Scrantons and other good, decent people live. There was you'd go by a wall that my recollection
You'd go
is
by a
somewhere
wall?
between 15
That's
and
unusual.
18 feet tall. And it went for essentially a city block.
Okay.
And you could see the coal piled up to the very top of the wall from inside.
Oh,
It
my.
was a coal-fired plant.
Yeah.
A coal-fired plant.
Coal-fired plant.
And
That's what it was.
of that, all
Coal.
the negative impacts of breathing that coal,
Yeah.
the dust,
Right.
were affecting everybody. But at the time, people didn't know it, and there wasn't any alternative. Folks, we have no excuse now. We know.
Yeah, we do.
There are
Yeah,
answers
we
for
do.
it. We can make things better in terms of jobs. We can
so
make things
bad.
better in terms of the environment. We can make things better for families overall.
Oh, these
So
radicals.
I'm looking forward to this
it's-
movement. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
He's looking
May
forward
God
to this
bless you
movement.
all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you.
May God protect us from you.
Okay.
You miserable brain dead douchebag. I can't believe what's happening right now.
Know.
This is a clarion call to all of us to make sure that we alert these people to the fact that we don't want them to do what they're about to do. Should be calling the White House every single day and telling and demanding that he not declare a climate emergency. He's going to shut everything down. They're going to end any opposition to their point of view. And even experts in the field, like Michael Schellenberger, who was a radical environmentalist for 30 years. And then he discovered that so many of the things that were being said were not true.
Correct.
And so he started talking about it, which you can't do in that industry. You can't. If you go against the grain, they're going to shut you down. And you're not going to be a part of their machine anymore. They're going to kick you out, and they're going to discredit you, and they're going to try to make it so that you can't have a job. I mean, they want to fire all meteorologists that don't buy into the man-caused climate change thing. Has it warmed? Yeah, okay, so what? So has it gone up 5 degrees? Now, if that was the case, I'd be a little concerned. 0.9 degrees in 100 years? I'm not concerned about that, because that just means we grow more food. That's what that means. And this climate crisis they keep screaming about, like Chicken Little,
I know,
is just a massive scam.
I know.
Absolute scam.
And I know I was just thinking about the clip we probably don't have about one of the favorite news clips we had in the past was, if the ocean.
Yeah, we don't. If the ocean absorb all that heat,
doesn't do what the ocean does,
it would be 309 degrees in Dallas today. 309 degrees.
Okay.
That would be very uncomfortable. I'm glad,
would be uncomfortable.
Really glad the Earth functions the way it was created to function.
Right.
And it's amazing how resilient this planet is. It was created to do a lot of things, to self-repair. I mean, talk about the ozone layer. Remember that?
Yeah.
They were so freaked out over the ozone.
It's completely gone now, right? The giant hole and everything is completely gone.
The hole is gone. Yes, but the ozone layer remains.
No, that's what I mean.
Yes.
Everything is gone. We're dead.
Uh-huh.
We're dead now because of that.
We're not. But that was the fear.
Oh, yeah.
We stopped doing the spray cans because of it.
Yeah, the fluorocarbons, right?
Yeah. So that went away. And the ozone hole repaired itself. You don't even hear about it anymore. Acid rain. Have you heard them even mention that?
Right.
Recently?
That was everywhere.
Acid rain was everywhere for a while.
Oh, man.
In the 70s, they were talking about global cooling, and it was caused by the exact same thing. Isn't that interesting? The global cooling and global warming are both from CO2. Huh. Weird. That's really weird.
We also got some breaking news yesterday in the speech.
Yeah.
And
it's
not good. It's not good, actually. I was really surprised, and this is news that maybe we should have known about.
Mm-hmm.
President Biden told us about an illness.
Not very much unlike where I grew up, in a place called Claymont, Delaware, which has more oil refineries than Houston, Texas had in its region, just across the line in Pennsylvania.
What?
And all the prevailing winds are our way.
No, you didn't.
I just lived up the road.
No.
I just in an apartment complex when we moved to Delaware. And just up the road, a little school I went to, Holy Rosary Grade School.
Right.
And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than
was
us
accessible.
be able to walk.
Huh.
Guess what?
What?
The first frost, you knew what was happening. You'd had to put on their windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer. And why for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation. But that's the past. And we're gonna build a different future.
Yeah, we are building a different future, but
but he has cancer. Now, is he talking about the skin cancer he's
That's
had
what
removed?
the White House says.
Yeah.
The White House said, "Oh, that's past. He's talked about that. He's had the melanoma or the skin cancer, whatever it was. That's fine. Don't worry about it. That was just him. That was just Joe.
Joe being Joe, saying stupid things that aren't true.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't know. And I don't buy the windshield wiper removing the oil from his windshield either, frankly.
Well,
I mean, I lived in Houston.
I don't even know where he lives, to be honest with you, because it's Delaware and Pennsylvania and Scranton, and I'm not.
I know. Is he the scrapper from Scranton? Or is he a Delaware boy? Which is it?
I don't know. And did he drive? Did he take the trolley? Was there oil? Was there coal?
And what a weird thing. We had a 4-lane highway that
was accessible.
What highways aren't accessible? Because why would you have the highway if it's not accessible? It'd be kind of ridiculous, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Yeah, they built a beautiful highway here that goes clear across the country, but you can't get to it. So nobody's ever used it.
You can't get there from here, but it's gorgeous. It is beautiful.
If you can get the oil off your windshield in the morning, because otherwise, with that thick layer of oil that we always see on our windshields, if you can't get that off, it's going to be tough to drive on the 4-lane highway that you can't access.
I guess it was only winter time that it did. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Wow, that's a lot of garbage coming out of his face. So stupid. And where was, by the way, this claim from his campaign?
If I'm elected president, you're going to see the single most important thing that changes in America is we're going to cure cancer.
Where's that?
You think I'm joking? Yeah. He was about right. You think I'm joking?
You think I'm joking? But I'm not. I'm not joking. Well, good. Let's have it then. Let's see it. He's not. He actually did make the claim again 6 or 8 months ago, and now nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Because,
nothing.
Well, I mean, his foundation is closed down.
Right.
I mean, they closed down, and they never.
And they did virtually nothing. By the way,
absolutely. The money was spent on dinners and gatherings of people to try to raise money, and then
salaries.
Poof.
Yeah, and then it's all gone.
Poof.
Huh. Wow, that was a powerful.
I mean,
really well-run charity.
I'm all about starting a charity like that.
Yeah, I know you are.
You have to. I have to cure anything? Nope. You just have to say it. Okay.
Wow. Okay, so there it is. All the BS from the climate change speech yesterday. Frightening. Be afraid. Be very afraid, and do something about it. Call the White House and tell them. Demand that he not declare a climate emergency. We can't have that. You will lose freedom if he does this. You will. And that could happen as soon as next week. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.
If it's good enough for them, is it good enough for you?
Now back to Pat Gray Unleashed.
No, you look like an idiot. That's true.
Vern Lundquist tweets, "Thanks for diving straight into the data, Ginger." From that climate report at the beginning of the show. Now do the end of the Ice Age. From Joey's Gaff-O-Matic teleprompter, looking at the map, it looks like California is the hottest. And maybe that's not because of climate change, but because California has become hell on earth. Yeah, it's possible.
It is possible.
Louisville Slugger Trucker. I can draw a map and color it red and say it's gotten hotter over the years and lie about it as easy as the buffoons on ABC. By the way, I thought I saw a polar bear outside my window along with lungs blown out from a 9mm. Strange things. Yeah. But the polar bear thing, that's one of the worst situations because, you don't see them every day anymore.
A tragedy is unfolding in the world today.
Yeah.
Climate change is threatening one of the most magnificent wild animals on the planet.
Gerbils, I bet.
Polar bears.
Oh, right. Polar
They're
bears.
struggling to survive.
They're struggling to survive.
The ice is melting all around them.
Oh, no. No, don't say
and
that.
food is becoming harder to find as they lose their hunting grounds.
Oh, my gosh.
Climate change.
It's
happening
right now.
And it's leaving mothers weaker, unable to provide for
polar
their
bear
young.
mothers can't provide for their young. And the young...
And cubs dying,
drowning.
without enough to eat.
That's what they're saying, is they drown.
As the struggle and search for food for survival.
Here's the thing. Polar bears, when the ice melts and they have to swim, they can only swim up to 400 miles at a time.
It's no wonder they're not surviving.
Yeah, they can't get back to land. It's almost impossible. They're so far out at sea that it might as well be just 4 feet because they can only go 400 miles and they're thousands and thousands of miles away from land, I guess. But yeah, the polar bear situation is a crisis. As we mentioned before, this very morning, the polar bear population has only gone from 5,000 to 25,000 in the last 50 years. So it's very frightening. Very frightening indeed.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm. DMXDM tweets, as someone who directly experienced much wilder weather this year, I can confirm that the climate changed because that's what it does. Carl Smith, President Biden says there's nothing we can't do if we just work together. And if you don't work together with him, he'll do it himself.
Right.
Jeffy,
I really mean that.
Jeffy, he does as he pleases, tweets. We're going to turn this country green if we have to burn down the whole place to do it. Climate change activists.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm. That's essentially what's being said.
That is exactly what's being said, man. Wow.
But, I mean, they do have, in London the other day, it was 40 degrees. That's extremely cold for summertime. 40 degrees. Oh, wait. It's 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that could be 4 degrees below zero. It could be 400 degrees above. There's no way to tell. No way to tell. So, although this article says it was 104. In London, that is very, very, very hot. But, you're going to get extremes from time to time, right? I mean, it doesn't mean anything. We've always had extremes. That's why there's record highs. And every single day there has a record high for that day. You're going to surpass them sometimes. The big deal in England is that, as they said on that report, 3% of the people have air conditioning. 3%.
And look, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, me too. But when it's 70 degrees all summer, usually, I don't have a lot of sympathy for you. Go to a movie theater and maybe there's air conditioning there when it's really hot. Just a good suggestion for you. That's what we do here. Maybe you could do it there. And maybe you should check on your elderly. They're raising such a big deal about how hot it is this summer. But in most of the United States of America, the summer of 1936 was much hotter than this.
I was going to mention that because I thought it was.
Yeah, much harder.
When I was going through 1936.
Get this. At their peak in 1936, temperatures in North Dakota were warmer than Midsummer Death Valley. What? Hot enough to cook rare steak in the street. So you could go out. Wow. I mean, I don't recommend cooking steak in the street, no matter how hot it is. You might use a grill.
We didn't have social media at the time, so we didn't realize.
Yeah, we didn't know you shouldn't do that. Plus, the North American heat wave of 1936 followed one of the coldest recorded winters in that same year. This is what happens on this planet. We do have extremes. In North Dakota, though, February temperatures at Devil's Lake plunged to 21 below zero. Channel ice in the Illinois River at Peoria grew 19 inches thick. The Chesapeake Bay froze entirely.
Wow.
Something that has happened only 7 times since 1780. Wow. I mean, it was a super hot year and a super cold year during that winter of 1936. So many people in America died. 5,000, in fact. 5,000 people in the United States died that year from the heat waves. Was that global warming? No. It was just, the sun baking this planet the way the sun can. It's just silly how we've gotten so ridiculous over this climate change thing. And they just keep beating that drum. And as long as they keep saying the things they're saying, I guess some people are going to be stupid enough to believe it. All right, let me tell you about preborn. In this time when we're celebrating Roe versus Wade being overturned, and we love that it has, because Roe v. Wade was responsible for the slaughter of over 63 million babies. Well, now the decision to abort a child will be left in the hands of the states, and the most radical extreme states are going to have radical extreme abortion laws. It's still going to be vital that preborn exists and does their work. And the only way they can continue their work is if you will donate. So whatever you can afford, maybe it's $1, maybe it's $10. If you could do $50, $100, whatever it is, all gifts are tax deductible and will go towards saving babies' lives and helping to keep preborn centers safe. They're really under attack right now from the extremists. So to donate, dial pound 250, say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, and use the keyword baby, or go to preborn.com/Pat.
Gray Unleashed.
I didn't think I could dislike any president as much as I dislike Barack Obama. And then along came Joey. Joey. As his mom said, Joey. And then
my mom used to say Joey.
Some homespun story that's really irrelevant and stupid and not compelling in any way.
Wipe the oil slick off your nose, Joey.
Yeah, that was a good one when he mentioned that. But Biden's approval rating from NPR now, yet another poll that is at yet another low on his approval rating, 36% approval. From NPR PBS NewsHour Marist poll. Wow. His lowest since taking office in this particular poll, with support from independents especially dissipating. A full 58% of registered voters disapprove of the president's job. So it's 58-36. He's 22 points underwater. 44% strongly disapprove. I'm among those. That might surprise people. Yeah, I am among the strongly disapproving group. Let's see. So 19% said they simply disapprove of his performance, not strongly. And a total disapproval rating. Total disapproval is 65% from independents. Oof.
Wow.
That's huge. That represents a 4% slip since the end of June already, with only 12% of voters, 12% say they strongly approve of the job he's doing. Nobody likes this guy.
I mean, and he's just...
Even Democrats.
And the things that are happening in the country, he's just doubling down on everything to make it worse.
Yes, he is. Yep.
It doesn't matter that, oh, you don't like me? Well, you'll like me if I make it worse.
Yeah.
How about that? Doesn't make any sense.
I just have to tell you more than I do that I'm doing a great job. And you don't know how good you have it. If I can just convince the American people that they're not suffering, they're thriving in the midst of inflation and incredibly high gas prices and the border crisis and everything else we've got going on, pandemics of all kinds, and he's done nothing he said he was going to do. Like he was going to end the pandemic too. Has that happened? No, it sure hasn't. In fact, we've developed another one. We're adopting monkeypox as well.
No, that's not a pandemic yet.
Almost.
Don't.
Well, they're going to get together and see if it's a pandemic.
That's not a pandemic.
The WHO is going to, and I don't know why they just don't do your concert tour and shut up about these political things, but they won't. They'll never stop. So the WHO is going to get together, and I think at Roger Daltrey's house, and decide if this is a pandemic or not. So that'll be interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they said they're not going to get fooled again, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them declare a pandemic.
It's possible. They've said a lot of experts have said that the pox is out of the bag. Right? I mean, there's no stopping it now.
Has somebody actually used that expression?
No.
Pox is out of the bag. That was a Jeffy thing. Yes. Okay, good.
Was that a problem?
No, it's great.
Okay,
it's great. But you know what's even better is oil prices, or the gas prices. Are
my God,
plummeting right now. And we've gotten so much relief from this administration. They've done such a good job.
Oh.
So, again, this is amazing. Things are so bad that even members of the media are starting to take on these
they have to.
Officials and say, look, you wouldn't take any of the blame or any responsibility for the prices going up. And now you're celebrating your own actions by claiming that you're doing so many things, the price is coming down. And people are being, Buttigieg was asked about it yesterday.
If prices go back up, do you then have to take blame for the higher prices if you take a victory lap now?
Look, no one's out here saying mission accomplished. We just want to make sure that it's understood that...
That wasn't the question. Nobody said, hey, have you guys said mission accomplished? Nobody asked you that.
No.
You're taking credit for what you wouldn't take any responsibility for before. That's unbelievable.
The measures that the president and the administration have taken to help to reduce the price of oil seem to be having an effect. We all know that no administration, no policymaker, no president directly controls the price of gas or the price of oil, but there have been a number of measures that we think are helping.
Oh, yeah, they've taken a number of measures that are helping, of course. And prior to that, they had nothing to do with the prices going up in the first place. It's just really something else.
It's amazing. Plus, I found another way that they're getting me to feel better about the gas prices.
Yeah.
Is that I pulled into a gas station the other day, and the sign said $3.87. And I thought, wow, the prices are really going back up. You know what I mean? Because I've been paying under $3.80. When I got to the tank, it was $3.72. And I went, oh, okay, well, that's good.
Oh, wow. Well, you are really saving money.
I know.
Yeah.
This is scamming me. They're scamming me, putting up the wrong price on the sign.
So it said $3.87, but it was only $3.72?
$3.72 at the tank.
Oh, that's weird.
I know.
Huh. That is strange. I'm still paying over $4 for the premium, and quite a bit over $4.
Oh, yeah. They're $4.49, $4.45, something like that. A lot of places.
I filled up 3 or 4 days ago. It was $4.65.
Ooh. I need to find a new place, bro.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, apparently I do.
That's the thing, though, right? I mean, if I stop at, say, at $3.72, if I go to Sam's Club and wait in line for an hour and a half.
Oh, it's crazy.
Then I pay $3.60 something, right? Well, okay, so I'm saving.
I'm not doing that.
5 to 10 cents a gallon
to sit there and idle.
That's not going to
for
happen.
An hour and a half.
That's not going to happen. The only way to do that if you have the time to wait in that line is to just pull up and shut your car off and just push it up to the tank. Put it in neutral and just push it up to the tank, which I'm not opposed to.
But nobody's doing that.
And you don't have time.
Nobody's doing that.
Especially when
the air conditioning's off.
Especially when it's 110 degrees
right. And you're not doing that. And when I pull up at Sam's Club and I see that incredible line, there's no way I'm sitting in that line. There's no way.
Chance.
I'm sorry. I'm going across the street and I'll pay 5 cents a gallon extra. Oh, wow. I mean, that's what? With a 20-gallon tank, it's,
that's $1, right? That's a whole $1.
Yeah, it's a whole $1.
Okay. There's nothing to sneeze at.
No, that's right. So if you're paying $94 instead of $93, it's just not worth it, is it, to not wait an hour and a half? You can barely get to the store portion of Sam's Club because of all the traffic that's around the gas station.
Yeah.
And it's backed way up.
Some days it's really bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't. It's amazing the gas stations weren't designed to have lines backed up into the road.
Yeah, it is amazing. But this is a weird time. And
it is.
It's very reminiscent of the late 70s when there were gas shortages and, the inflation was running out of control and the interest rates were sky high and the economy sucked. And we're kind of there now again.
We are, although I will say, I think maybe we touched on this yesterday. One of the big differences is back then no one was concerned about food.
That's
and
true.
The food shortages, which we are, we are experiencing a little bit of here in the United States now.
So from that aspect, it's worse.
Yeah,
than the late 70s under Jimmy Carter. That's pretty hard to believe that it could be worse than under Jimmy Carter, but it is. I mean, this is the worst president, I think, of all time. Not just our lifetime, not since Jimmy Carter, but all time. The worst. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. Thanks for being with us. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Found out something pretty interesting yesterday from Alejandro Mayorkas.
The border is secure.
Okay.
The border, we are working to make the border more secure. That has been a historic
But it's
challenge.
secure. The border is secure.
But we're working on making it more secure.
That's
okay.
An incredible statement. It's like, again, these people are such great liars. They can look right at you when you're in the same room with them, and you can say, I am not here. And they will try to make you believe that. I am not here. Well, I'm looking right at you. What do you mean? I am not here.
It's a 2-year-old invisible bit. I'm invisible.
So
you
crazy.
You can't see me. I'm underneath this blanket. You can't see me.
You can't see me. I'm camouflaged, or I can turn myself invisible. The border is secure? It's the worst it has been in American history. In American history. And the border's been pretty bad for some time now. And it's worse than it's ever been. And he's got the giblets to say the border is secure?
Well, the border.
The border is secure. Okay.
The border.
Okay, so what are we talking about here? Are we talking about the border?
We're going to make it more secure. And look, they're losing ground on this fight, too, though, because now we have, and this is kind of thanks to Greg Abbott, governor of the great state of Texas, for busing these immigrants into Washington, D.C. and New York, because the administration were flying immigrants and have been and continue to fly immigrants into these cities around the country and, specifically New York and D.C., but the bus case has really brought it to the forefront. You've got both mayors of D.C. and New York complaining, and these guys are being tricked. And
they don't seem to like it. They don't like it. You're getting just this tiny, tiny little taste of it, of what we deal with every minute of every day. By the hundreds of thousands and millions, and you're getting, 25 or 30 at a time, and they can't take it. They just can't take it.
Well, they can't take it because it's coming, on from Texas.
Yep.
It's specifically, it's not coming from the feds.
Yeah.
It's coming specifically from Texas saying, here, take this.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I don't know that it matters where they're coming from. They just don't want them there. They don't want these immigrants there.
I think
they don't know what to do with them. They don't know what to do with it. It's causing a strain on their system. They don't know where to put them. They don't know what to do. They have no idea. I don't know that they even care that they're coming from Texas. I think it's just because they're getting a feeling for what it's like to have people arrive in your city, and then suddenly you have to take care of them because they've got no money, they've got nowhere to go, they have no home, they have no plan, they're coming here, and that's what they're going to do. And so now D.C. gets to deal with that.
And good.
And good is right.
Good.
Yes, absolutely. That's great.
I wouldn't want you to, send back them.
Right.
Wouldn't want that to happen.
No, that would be wrong and xenophobic, frankly. Why would you be doing that? There's only 11 million of them here, which is the number they were using. Again, when I first moved to Houston 21 years ago, they were saying there were 11 million illegals here. That was the number they used. At the time, I think honest brokers, even back then, were saying, no, it's really more like 20 million. So by now, what is that number? Really?
Right.
What is that number? Is it 30 million? Is it 40 million? Because I think it might be.
I think so, too.
I think it might be 50 million. It's a lot. There are a lot of undocumented citizens here in this country.
There are a lot.
And the left pretends to care for them, to love them, to want them here.
But they want them, but not here.
Yeah, not in their neighborhood, not in their district, not in their cities. And, because they allow all of this illegal immigration and they encourage them to come here and live illegally, then all the people that come here automatically are trapped in a system where they can't progress past the lowest possible income level. They're stuck in poverty, essentially, for as long as they live here because they're not legal. So if you don't have the documentation, you can't get a good job. Maybe you could be a lawn worker or whatever, but you're not going to get a good job, a high-paying job. Right. No, you're stuck in a really low-paying job forever. And it might be more money than you were making in Mexico or Guatemala.
Absolutely it is.
But it's still not very much money. And you're stuck with that the rest of your life for as long as you're in that situation and you don't fix it. And they're encouraging you to stay in that situation. Yes. That's the thing that nobody realizes. The Democrats are encouraging them to live in the shadows. They complain about it. Well, you got these people living in the shadows. Yeah, because you're forcing them into the shadows. When really they're not in the shadows. We know where they live. We know where they are. We know where their kids go to school. But we do nothing about it. And we do nothing about it because the Democrats are in power most of the time, and they like the fact that these people aren't going anywhere. They like it. And they don't care that 700 of them have died in the last year and a half trying to make it here. They don't care about that. You'll never hear that statistic from them.
No way.
They don't care.
In fact, I would be, I know you had that number this weekend. I would have bet it was more. I just, I 700 is horrific enough, but
it probably is more.
I would have said,
that's just the number that Border Patrol has found. Yeah, it could be way more than that. Could be way more. Because Border Patrol is not everywhere, and they go through the remote areas of the country, the desert areas.
And they're counting what they find, that's it.
Yeah. And when you cross an area that isn't inhabited, and that's what they're doing, so they don't get caught, a lot of them, then, nobody's there to find out that you just died in the desert alone. I mean, it's really an awful situation.
Really sad.
Really awful. They don't care. They don't care. Biden administration does not care.
Think about it.
I am thinking about
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. Since I thought about it, I decided to say something about it too. So yeah, I did. Thank you.
So yesterday I was tagged in a tweet, and I don't have to explain to you. You know, if someone tags you in a tweet, you get the notification.
No, you don't have to explain it to me.
And I saw the notification, and I went, "Wow, what is that referring to?" So I went back, and the Blaze had a quiz, a poll, asking people, if you had to trust one of these people to babysit your kid for an hour, who would it be? And they list Joe Biden,
no,
Dr. Fauci,
no,
Brian Stelter,
oof, no,
AOC.
Oh my gosh,
now,
that's a tough choice.
I know, and I know who I chose, and I was with the majority.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so give them to me again.
All right. Who would you trust?
With my
if you
kids.
had to trust one of these people to babysit your kid for an hour, who would it be? Joe Biden, Dr. Fauci, Brian Stelter, AOC.
It'd have to be Fauci, probably.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, when I played yesterday afternoon, it got Fauci was at 14%.
Really?
Yeah. Brian Stelter, 22%.
What? Why would you leave him with that fat douchebag?
Oh no!
There's no way I'm leaving him with Brian Stelter.
Joe Biden,
a
4%.
4, yeah.
AOC with 59%. Yeah,
59%.
I chose AOC. I chose AOC as well. Oh yeah. I mean,
I'm not having her indoctrinate my kids. No, thank you.
But the tweet that brought this to my attention.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather dress my daughter up as a pizza and leave her with Jeffy.
Which is also not a good idea, but, you know.
That's not true. How dare you?
If he thinks it's a pizza, he's going to eat it. You know that.
Well, I mean.
And so.
Pick a couple of pepperonis.
He'll say, hey, where's my child? When you come back after the hour, it's in Jeffy's belly.
Let me eat!
All right. That's a good poll, though. That's a good poll. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. We got this representative. What is her name? That is talking about Kathleen Rice.
Kathleen Rice, yeah, with the abortion stuff.
Talking about the word abortion and that we shouldn't be using it. Here's what she had to say.
And all I hear is a bunch of conversations where the word abortion is meant as a negative term.
It is a negative term, you stupid
Dr.
moron.
Francis, you just said that one of the benefits of Roe,
oh man,
in your mind, is that we can now have a robust conversation about this issue. I would suggest that you stop throwing the word abortion around because you think it's one that is going to raise the emotions above having a reasonable conversation. In a word that has been weaponized.
No, murder would be if we're trying to really, bring out the emotions in this discussion. We're calling it killing a baby or murder, not just abortion.
Absolutely,
it is an abortion. What do you want? You want to change the meaning of the word? This is what they do every time.
Yep.
When they don't like a word. When it looks bad for them, because it is bad for them, that they're supporting abortion, then they simply change the word or the meaning of the word. Like pro-choice. That's what they love. They love the pro-choice thing. Wait, okay, it's just a simple choice? That's all you made? Oh, okay. All right, yeah, that doesn't sound bad at all. She made a choice. Of course you want her to choose, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's how they get around it.
Absolutely.
Every single time. All right, she had more.
In my opinion, by certain people in this country, because if we're going to have a real conversation about this, we have to stop using language that is, going to
no, we don't
prevent an actual.
It's going to show you what's actually happening.
Even before the Supreme Court issued the Dobbs decision, we anti-abortion activists and Republican lawmakers, we know, had spent years restricting abortion access. Many states have passed onerous abortion restrictions designed by political ideologues to create barriers to care and discourage abortion. for women who have already
you
made
don't
their
wanna do
decision,
that.
many
No,
of
you do
whom
not.
are in actual crises, these barriers delay care and can be devastating. Dr. Verma,
Devastating.
what barriers?
I don't know.
If
Did
you,
I
I know
leave
that
some
you've
of Dr. Burma in?
talked.
I
A
don't know
lot of
that
people
I
have,
did.
talked about this before, but I think it's important to talk about the barriers that your patients faced in accessing abortion before the
She's
Dobbs
great.
decision, and how those barriers are
She's
compounded
great.
now.
Thank you so much for that question and for sharing your story and your daughter's story. So people have absolutely in many parts of this country faced restrictions and burdens to accessing the abortion care
we don't want
need
to
for
burden
many,
them.
many years. I've
Killing
seen
a
this
child,
in the
you don't
South,
want
which
to
is my
burden
home.
them.
And I think it's important to recognize that these bans on abortion, restrictions on abortion disproportionately affect those from already marginalized groups like people of color, people of lower lower financial
Pause it for a second.
You know who else is disproportionately affected? The baby.
The baby is disproportionately affected. Yes. And interesting that you would mention the minorities. Yeah, you're right. There are more abortions of black babies in New York than there are live births. So, yeah, they're being disproportionately affected by this. And why? Because abortion centers are 80% located in minority neighborhoods. 80% of Planned Parenthood clinics are in minority neighborhoods.
And this Kathleen Rice is from New York. She's a representative from New York, so I mean, makes sense that she's all for it.
And this is exactly the way Margaret Sanger wanted it to be, because she wanted to eliminate the black race and the brown race.
Huh.
Yeah, and all minorities. So that's interesting. It was all about eugenics in the very beginning of this thing. And so, you're kidding. Marginalized communities are being disproportionately affected? Yeah, that's as it was planned. Exactly as planned by Planned Parenthood founder Margaret Sanger. What else does she have to say? I'm sure it was brilliant.
These barriers are, for example, some of the things that we face in Georgia. I mentioned the mandatory waiting period.
A mandatory.
Required by the state to read particular scripts that are not medically accurate. As doctors, we're trained to consent our patients. I provide informed consent to all my patients for any procedure, including abortion. I talk to them about all of the options, including continuing the pregnancy. And I'm happy, as someone who provides full spectrum OBGYN, to support them if they if they decide to continue the pregnancy.
People
and so
are
what we know that
evil.
these barriers are doing are they're just making it harder for people to get the care they need. They are not making the
harder
care
to kill their
safer,
baby, please.
and they are disproportionately affecting already marginalized communities.
Already
These, I mean, the anger. How does it not just boil over?
I know.
How does it not? Wow. And they are so arrogant about what they believe that it is. They are doing the right thing. And we, trying to save lives, are the evil ones.
Yep.
We that want the babies to be born, including
the marginalized communities,
including them. We want them to be born. So it's you that are the racists, not us. I want black babies to be born. I want Hispanic babies to be born. I want white babies to be born. So if you don't, it seems like you're the one who's the racist.
Well, of course we want babies to be born, but if the mother feels that it's gonna, I don't know.
Well, because we always trust mothers.
We don't want. We
you
don't
have
want
to
it
trust
to
the mother.
ruin someone's life. You don't want a child to ruin someone's life. I mean,
and there's no other way other than killing the child before it's born, right?
That's correct.
There's no other way.
That's correct.
You can't do, I don't know, adoption.
Oh, hey, that's just silly.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous to even think of that. There's nobody who would adopt a baby. Crazy. All right. We've been brainwashed into believing the only way to grow our money for retirement is to risk it in the stock market, and it's just not true. You can reach your financial goals and dreams without taking any unnecessary risks. Bank on yourself. It's a better way to grow and protect your hard-earned money. This retirement plan alternative has never had a losing year in 160 years. Guaranteed predictable growth and retirement income with no luck, skill, or guesswork required. In fact, Bank on Yourself has a 160-year plus track record of positive growth. Tax-free retirement income. You'll know what your tax rate will be in retirement. It'll be 0 under the current law, which protects you from the coming tax tsunami. You'll have liquidity. You can get access to your money for any purpose at all with no questions asked. There's no volatility. Your plan doesn't go backward when the markets tumble. Both your principal and growth are locked in. And you get peace of mind. You can get a free report with all the details of how adding Bank on Yourself to your financial plan can help you take control of your money. Just go to bankonyourself.com/unleashed. That's bankonyourself.com/unleashed. So, scientists believe that the James Webb Telescope and other next-generation telescopes could allow them to detect unique signatures of alien life forms in the atmospheres of extrasolar planets. Scientists have long speculated about the possibility of extraterrestrial life, and aliens have captured the public imagination to become a mainstay of popular culture and science fiction. Earth is, as of now, of course, the only known home of life in the universe, but we can't be the only place where there's life. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. As they said in the movie Contact, if there isn't other life in the universe, that's a pretty big waste of space.
Yeah.
Yep. Many astronomers have suggested that life may emerge on other bodies in our solar system, such as Mars and Europa. It may have emerged already in those. One of Jupiter's 4 Galilean moons, due to the presence or possible presence of liquid water. However, verifying these claims is pretty tough, with no readily apparent biosphere probes that would have to be sent across millions of miles to collect physical samples for further study. Astronomers, though, increasingly believe that the first signs of alien life will be found beyond the solar system, on exoplanets orbiting other stars. Since the 1990s, scientists have discovered over 5,000 exoplanets. That's like, those are all places where life could exist. And theoretical models suggest that there are far, far more. Some estimates claim that there could be at least 300 million habitable planets in our galaxy alone. 300 million. That's amazing. That's hard to even get your head around.
Sure is.
That's a lot of people.
It sure is.
If there's 300 million planets with intelligent life on there, I'm talking not just bacteria or, there's a living virus on that planet. That's really cool.
Right.
No. Civilizations. Wouldn't that be something? I just want to find one other. One other. Is that too much to ask? Let's just find one other place where there's life, and these telescopes might actually be able to get to figure that out.
Did you see the Jupiter pics that James Webb released?
I don't think so.
They are really cool. We're showing them on Blaze TV right now.
Okay.
As James went by.
There's one.
Really cool with the
you
different
really see
moons
that
on it.
spot.
I know
that storm area. Is it the size of Earth, or is it the size of 11 Earths or something? I mean, it's huge.
Yeah,
it's a huge area.
Anyway, I mean, James Webb is giving us some great shots of
the sun,
the universe. It's just
that's just the sun, right?
No, it's Jupiter.
That's not Jupiter. That's Jupiter.
Yeah.
How's it so bright?
The lights are on.
They turned the lights on?
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, because I'm the Jupiter of planets, because Jupiter eats all the planets. I got the joke.
Yeah, you got it?
Yeah,
you did?
I
Really?
got it, yeah.
Okay, all right. Seems like you're fond of that particular...
I'm just saying, it's funny.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
funny.
Is. That's right.
Yeah.
It is funny.
Because Jupiter eats planets.
Right, and you are the Jupiter of planets.
Yeah, that's the joke.
There you are in the solar system.
James Webb is really getting specific now.
Orbiting the sun. We didn't have that before the James Webb Telescope.
No, we didn't.
And now we do.
Now we do.
So, yeah, I'm pretty thankful for it. That's great. More coming up.
Pat Gray returns.
I got a great overtime coming up for you today.
I'm excited.
The mystery of the sound machine will be revealed. We're going to go through.
I'm excited.
This thing and see what's actually there.
Let's hear the clips.
Yep.
I'm excited. It'll be fun.
Yeah, should be fun.
It'll be fun. Since we lost one.
We lost it.
We got
about 1,000, right around 1,000 sound clips.
We got to give this one some love.
Gone. So this is all we have left now. So we'll see what's in it. On overtime today. Meanwhile, a couple of things here. First of all, did you see the latest on the 22-year-old hero from Indiana who shot the mass shooter in that Indiana mall food court?
With his illegal weapon?
Right, which wasn't illegal because they just passed constitutional carry, and so he was constitutionally carrying it. And thank goodness he was. Soon as the shooter spent, like they said, an hour in the bathroom preparing himself, I guess, to start going out and shooting all these people. As soon as he came out of the bathroom, he starts firing at people. Kills 3 almost immediately. Initially, they said the 22-year-old kid who stopped him, it took him 2 minutes to do that.
Right.
Which would have been really fast, considering 77 minutes in Uvalde for 400 police officers. They have revised this now because no information we get in the first couple of days is accurate anymore.
Sure seems that way.
I have no idea what went on
Nothing is ever right.
Nope. What it actually took him was 15 seconds. 15 seconds.
Incredible, right? Because they talked to the girlfriend and the grandma, right? Grandma or mother-in-law. The grandma. He got them to push them down, got them to safety.
Yep.
Right, made sure they were okay.
And then immediately started firing and moving toward the guy as he fired. The bravery here, the courage of this guy is pretty amazing.
Sure is. It's awesome.
He fired at him 10 times and hit him 8 of those 10 times. He was accurate. He was tactically, he was tactically sound in what he was doing because he kept moving toward the guy. And it's like you see on Navy SEALs movies.
Oh, that's the way we're trained.
Yeah, that's the way. That's the way we're trained. Okay. But thank goodness for this guy, because who knows how many dozens of people could have been killed.
Oh my gosh, it would have been more horrific than it already is.
Yeah, right. Instead, just 3 people were killed, 2 were injured, and they're both in stable condition. So apparently they're going to be okay. 3 people died in the first seconds of this thing, and then he prevented any other person from being killed.
Awesome.
Really amazing.
Awesome.
Really fantastic. Awesome. And he's still getting crap from the left.
Well, tough.
They still want to make him some sort of felon or kook or whatever because he had a gun on him, and he used it for good. Well, but that was a weapon that was designed to kill people or things.
He's not a first responder.
So? Yeah, first responders.
Technically, he is a first responder.
Yeah, he is. Yes, he is. Because how long does it take for police or fire department to get someplace? I mean, there's no way you could have stopped this thing in 15 seconds.
Right.
This is the only way that happens, is if a civilian is armed.
And the mall guard that's on his scooter is not going to get down to the food court fast enough.
Not in 15 seconds.
No way.
So,
hey, just a reminder, too, if you want to hear the, playing the hits from the 360, the classic sound bites on Overtime, make sure you subscribe and become a member of Blaze TV.
Yes, do that.
blazetv.com/Pat.
And you'll get $10 off when you use the offer code Pat. So, pretty good deal. Use the offer code Pat, get $10 off, and become a subscriber at Blaze TV. And you'll not only have access then to Overtime, but also to everybody else's Overtime that they do. Steve Deace does one. I think Chad does one, right?
Yes.
all the stuff that Glenn does. You're going to have access to all this stuff. Stu. So do it. Subscribe and save $10 right now with the offer code PAT. All right?
Yes, thank you. The congratulations are in order to Eileen Gu. She won 2 ESPY awards last night.
And who's Eileen Gu?
Eileen Gu. She is the Winter Olympics gold medalist who went ahead and performed for China instead of her native United States.
That's right.
So congratulations to Eileen. She won the breakthrough athlete and the female action sports athlete winner at the ESPYs last night.
The female athlete of the year. Do we have that? Was that Leah Thomas? Did she win it?
No. Well, Leah is university.
Oh, that's
true. The NCAA. That wasn't the ESPYs. Leah was.
Okay.
She's not
ESPN
nominated. Did not give. That wasn't anything to do with Leah. Yeah.
Why do they hate?
I know.
Why?
I don't know. What they do.
She's not good enough for an ESPY. Come on.
No, they don't.
Number 1 ranked female swimmer in the world. After being
correct.
the 462nd ranked male swimmer in the world just a couple years ago.
I don't know if Leah has any NIL deals at all. She might.
She
might.
Sure should.
She might.
They should. But
because I was looking, they expect $1.15 billion to be spent on NIL this year.
Wow. Well, Kirby Smart, who is the head coach at Georgia, he said he has 95 players on his team who are getting money from NIL deals. So it's a goodly number.
Pretty impressive.
And he said, trust me, there's a lot there. We arguably, I don't know for a fact, had the highest paid defensive lineman, Jordan Davis, the highest paid tight end, Brock Bowers, and probably the highest paid corner, Kelly Ringo, in the NIL market. Because after the national championship, there's 3 guys that just exploded. So they're getting a lot of money from these NIL deals.
Well, Florida and Texas are the 2 biggest states right now. Those are the 2 biggest states. Georgia's way down there, like 16th, but that's not universities, right? And so they talked about conferences, and
let me guess, the SEC is getting the most NIL money.
Well, they say, no,
really?
Actually,
who is
total compensation by conference? Big 10.
Oh,
Big 12.
What?
That's what they say.
Ahead of the SEC? Nice. How about that?
Big East.
Okay.
The Big East still exists, right? The
Big East exists for basketball. They don't have football anymore.
Right, because that was when I was announcing South Florida games. They were in the Big East then. Because I talked to Brian Kelly. He was, Cincinnati head coach, and all those guys were all part of the Big East. That was a good league then. Pac-12 SEC, according to total compensation, according to this.
That's hard to believe.
Year.
That's hard to believe. The Pac-12 is aheed of the SEC?
That's what this says.
Pac-12.
I don't know that I buy it, but it says
that's amazing.
That's what they're per open Doors at Open Doors data. That's what they claim. They say 35% of all D1 NIL compensation comes from donors. Roughly 15% of athletes in D1 have received an NIL deal from a donor. So they're guessing that the Power Fives are probably like 50% of that.
I would think so.
What sport is responsible for half of NIL compensations?
Got to be football.
And 1/3 of NIL activities?
Got to be football.
You would be correct. Again, supporting everything.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Interesting. The Pac-12 is ahead of the SEC in NIL
compensation.
money.
Really weird.
There was a rumor. Well, it wasn't a rumor. They were actually trying to merge. The Big 12 and the Pac-12 were they were having talks about merging.
That would have been a good league.
Merging the two, I think that would have been great.
That would have been great.
But apparently they decided that it just wasn't worth it, so they didn't do it, and they've called that off now. So now the Big 12, I think, is just going to approach certain teams in the Pac-12 and try to raid the Pac-12.
Well, we got UCLA and USC want to go to the Big Ten, right?
Yeah, that's already done.
That's already done, right?
That's a done deal. So the Big 12 is trying to get Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and Arizona State.
In Colorado and Colorado State, they were already in the Big 12 at one point, weren't they?
Colorado was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's not far-fetched. They could get those four teams, but I think the ultimate hope is that that Washington and Oregon would follow those four teams into the Big 12. Then you've got yourself a conference.
Which is what made sense if they merged.
Yes. Right.
Those were great.
But what they said was that the bottom feeders in the Pac-12 kind of dragged it down. You know, the Oregon State and Cal and
shut
up.
The
worthless teams in the Pac-12.
Shut up.
You know,
I always liked
Washington
Cal.
State.
I always liked Cal.
Did you?
Yeah, I don't know why I always did.
Why?
I don't know. I just had a little soft spot in my heart for them.
For UC
reason.
Berkeley. You like that?
I like that.
Yeah, okay. All right, whatever.
I like their uniforms.
That's a really good way to choose a sports team. I like the uniforms.
You don't get to see them much on the West Coast, so it was enjoyable to watch them once in a while.
That's good. Steny Hoyer had a little run-in with Fox News Channel's Neil Cavuto on inflation yesterday.
And he refused to answer about Joe Biden and whether the Democrats wanted him to run again, and if he believed Biden was too old to run again. Hoyer was not having any of that talk.
To buy a suit or a car. I get what you're saying. Finally, let me ask you, the backdrop for this Neil, also is the president. But could I ask you this? Do you think, as some in your party are saying, he should run again, he's open to run again, that he's not
Neil,
too old to run again?
Neil, I'm not going to go there. This is about today. You're asking about problems today. There's an inflation problem, but what you haven't said is...
6 out of 10 Democrats don't think the president's up to dealing with this today, right?
Neil, are you going to let me speak?
Please, go ahead.
Thank you. Neil, what you haven't said is...
It's his show.
Of inflation, this is a
He can interrupt anytime he wants.
We are in the middle of the OECD nations in terms of inflation.
These people are the worst.
About 50% higher than ours, 50% lower. We're in the middle. It's a worldwide. What caused it? The pandemic caused it. The supply shortages and the spike in demand. People were, as you point out, in terms of
any of it?
No, of course not, Neil.
If spending caused it, why are 50% of the nations in the OECD nations above us? They didn't do an American Rescue Plan. Did spending? Yes, I think it did in this sense. During the pandemic, people were shut in their homes. They weren't consuming, and suppliers were cutting inventory because people weren't buying.
Do you think we're through the worst of it then? Do you think we're through the worst of it right now?
I certainly hope we're the worst of it. And what points that out is people are coming out and consuming. They're buying. And what happened? The suppliers were down. And what happens when supply's down and demand's up? You spike costs, and that's a problem. And we ought to empathize with that. I just mentioned a number of bills, including the Build Back Better bill, which tries to bring down prescription drug costs and the Affordable Care Act costs. So, yes, we think that's important. The president thinks important. We are acting on it, and it's not an overnight situation. But clearly, it is a critical problem for the American consumer and the American people.
So you don't share the concern 6 out of 10 Democrats have about the president or
he goes back to it. That's good. That's great.
That's not what I'm here to talk about. The president, but I will tell you this. In my view, the president is acting responsibly, effectively on behalf of the American people, on behalf of our economy. And that's why we have 8.9 million new jobs. That's why we have 3.6 unemployment. And that's why we're
Pause it for a second. I can't even take it. The reason we have 8.9 million jobs is because they shut all of those down during the pandemic. Oh, he'll blame inflation on the pandemic, but he won't use the pandemic for the real
because he wants to take credit
situation.
For that.
Yeah, right. Oh, it's really hard to get through these sound clips now. Each one dumber than the last. Steny Hoyer, though. I mean, when was the last time we played anything by Steny Hoyer?
Well, that's actually why I did it. Because we hadn't heard from 83-year-old Steny.
Is he 83 now?
Yeah.
He's pretty spry for 83.
I mean, he's better than Joe Biden.
Oh, way better. Wow, 80. I would not have guessed that. Huh. Well, that's what we should take from that. There's a guy who's an octogenarian and still holding up fairly well.
No doubt.
Good for you. Good for you, Steny.
Who's a good little octogenarian?
Steny is. Seriously, we got to do something about the age, though.
Oh, man.
I mean, if you're 83, you don't need to be in Congress. You don't need to be.
Listen, I know it's all relative. When you start pushing 75, 83 doesn't look bad.
Mm-hmm. Something's got to be done. Seriously, we need we need term limits, and we need these guys to have to stay in their home district and not legislate.
Like that more than anything.
I do too. I think this would be the best fix to all of the ills in this country that you could possibly have is make them stay in their district and make them accountable to their constituents every day. They're going to your grocery store. You're seeing them at the grocery store. You're seeing them at their office. You're seeing them at the movie theater.
I like the gas prices today, Steny.
Hey, don't like it, Steny. Why don't you do something about that? If you're in their ear all the time, that's going to have an effect. Instead, they're in D.C. and they're eating fabulous lunches and dinners with lobbyists on K Street, and they don't have to hear from you. If they don't have to pick up the phone, they don't have to answer to you at all.
Nope.
Put them back in their district and let them legislate from there. There's no reason not to. We can do that.
I'm all for that.
It's called the internet. It wouldn't be hard to do.
Really?
Yeah. There's a newfangled thing that Al Gore invented recently. Yeah, called the internet.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really
That's
good.
incredible. It's almost like you could be anywhere in the world and
like
communicate with people.
Yeah, it's almost like that.
During my service in the United States Congress, I took the initiative in creating the internet.
I took the initiative in creating the internet.
Now that is an example of what you're going to hear on Overtime.
Exactly.
Today.
Right. That's
Bringing
right.
out the hits. As
That's
we
one of
break
them.
into the 360. That's awesome. Yesterday at this time, we showed somewhere. I was close to the end of the show when we ran the video of the Sesame Place kids getting appearing to be snubbed by the character.
And what we found out instead was there was somebody behind who was off camera offering a baby to the character, and the character was waving that off because they can't take the baby.
That's what Sesame Place said.
Yeah.
And they apologized and said we need to do better and all that thing. And and the days, I think we have the video, right? Here we go. You see the character
high-fiving others, and then there's the two little black girls, cuties. And so it looks like he waved them off.
Right. All right. So the days of I know, baby. Don't worry about it. Let's go get some cotton candy. Don't worry about it. We'll see another character. It's here at Sesame Place.
Yeah, those days are gone.
Long gone. Terminate that muppet. Attorney for the two black girls ignored by racist Sesame Street's Rosita. This is not about money, as he demands the Philly theme park pays for the mental health bills of the two little girls. Because one is in isolation over this. They are so distraught.
What?
One is in isolation.
Oh, shut up. Oh, my God.
Now, they claim, this attorney...
Come on. Come on now.
I mean, okay.
Is that how... I mean, I know that our society has lapsed into ridiculousness, but come on. What are they? Have they mentioned a dollar figure they have to get out of this?
No,
because
not yet. No.
These two girls are harmed perhaps forever now.
The performer should be fired, and they reject the firm's explanation on the costume and looking away, and their apology was too little, too late, and so it's all race. Now this attorney claims that he has 25 to 30 other families that could come forward with videos of similar incidents over the years.
What?
He threatened Sesame Place, saying they had 12 hours to issue an apology and acceptance of wrongdoing, or he's going to release further evidence So
release it.
I haven't seen what's been released, if any.
Come on.
But it does remind me of someone saying they were going to release the Kraken, and it never happened. So,
right. Yeah.
I spent the weekend waiting for the Kraken to fly over, and it never did. So, maybe it does. Maybe they do. Maybe Sesame Place is the most racist place in the whole world. I kind of doubt it.
Kind of doubt
it.
Eric July is on Fox News right now talking about his comic book venture. Do you know about it?
One of our big
contributors
here.
Our Blaze contributors. And we talked to him yesterday on Glenn's show, and he has done a non-woke comic book. And because Marvel has gotten so ridiculous, good example of this is if you've seen Thor, Love and Thunder, it is all about LGBTQ community stuff. It really is. Most of the characters in the movie are gay, and that's fine. But
I thought there was only a couple.
Do we need to jam it down our throats in every single movie? Do we need that? I don't know that we need that, frankly. And
am I supposed to hide the fact that I'm gay now? Is that what you're saying?
Hey, I don't want to know about it. How about that? Like, I don't care. I don't care one way or the other. But we're not having heterosexuality jammed down our throats, so let's not do the other one either. How about no sexuality in these movies?
If it affects my superhero business.
Yeah, right. Well, Eric July has decided that there's a market for people who don't want to see the woke stuff in every single movie or every single comic book. And so he released this comic book, and he's gotten $2 million in pre-sales already.
Nice.
$2 million. In fact, he said it's almost $3 million now. Nice. That's pretty great.
I mean, congratulations to Eric July. Good for him.
Little jealousy.
Good for Eric.
Yeah,
great for him.
It is great for him.
It is. It's awesome.
Yeah. So, and I guess he's already got a second and a third planned. So apparently this thing's really taken off.
Awesome.
It's interesting that if you just put out entertainment, people are going to flock to it. I think Tom Cruise understands that concept.
Yeah, he does.
And Eric July understood that concept.
I mean, Elvis definitely understood that concept.
Elvis did?
Yeah, the movie. TCB, baby.
Right. Yeah, baby, give me another neener sandwich. Hey, Scylla, how about some fried butter?
That was deleted from the movie. That wasn't in it.
Should have been, though. It should have been.
Did you go see Crawfish?
No, I have not seen Crawfish.
That's Crawdads.
Crawdads, Crawdaddies. I don't know, whatever it is. I didn't see it.
Oh, I thought you were...
Did you?
No, I did not go.
I was thinking about going to see it, but I didn't. And the other one was, what is that one that's going to be on Netflix, I think, tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, The Gray Man.
The Gray Man.
Starts tomorrow, yeah.
Does it start? Okay.
Yeah, Netflix. So.
Yeah, cool. So you don't have to go to the movie
Darn
theater.
the luck. I have to stay home to watch it.
Whole week without it being on demand. That's amazing. It's really amazing. All right, so we will see you today on Overtime. Also be filling in for Stu again on the Glenn Beck program. And back here tomorrow on Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.